After working in this apartment garage for almost 2 years, I am sick of it. The space itself is fine, however, these horrible orange OSB walls have gotta go. Now sure, I could absolutely just paint the walls white, however, I'm getting one step closer to being able to buy my first house, and I kinda wanna try a home renovation project. And because I've never done any home renovation type projects, I figured I would start here in the garage. That way, if I mess it up, it's not really a big deal. So how am I gonna go about giving the shop a huge facelift? Well, since this is a wood shop, I figured the best thing to try would be some wood paneling. So today, I'm gonna show you how you can install wood paneling so you can completely change the look of any room on Spencley Design Co. The very first step to putting this stuff up is taking everything off the wall.
This is one of the main reasons I always tell people to keep all of their tools on mobile bases. Times like these, I can very easily move heavy machinery around with little to no effort. Renovations like this are also a fantastic time to look through all the stuff that you've hoarded over the years and really give it a good thought whether or not you actually need it. Haven't touched a particular tool in over a year? Sell it or donate it. I know that I'm not the only one who works and thinks better in a clearer, less cluttered space, so do yourself a favor and purge all the crap you have laying around whenever you're going through a deep clean or renovation. Oh, and if you want to build any of the projects that you see in my shop, like the drill charging station, bandsaw cart, flip-top tool stand, tool storage, router table, or workbench, links to all those videos and plans are down below.
So now that I have all the walls cleared off, all the tools are gone and everything, the urge that I have is just to take my panel and start slapping it up against the wall. However, before I do that, you need to come up with a plan of attack on how you're gonna get all these panels up on the wall. So instead of just grabbing a panel and throwing it up in some random spot on the wall, I'm gonna start from a fixed point. And that fixed point is gonna be this corner of the garage. Now in this corner over here, you absolutely could grab your first panel, butt it up against the wall here, toss a level on top, and then just keep going along the wall. However, I think there's a slightly easier way to do it.
To save myself the headache of using the level and to save myself a substantial amount of time, I picked up one of these guys, a laser level. Just pop it on a tripod or mount it to an opposite wall, turn it on, and boom, you've got yourself a perfectly level laser line that's easy to use.
And with that laser up, now we can get to work.
I started off by placing my first board up against the corner of the wall and raise it until it's just barely touching that laser line. Now you'll notice that this board doesn't stretch the gap between the studs, so I need to mark a line where the board needs to be cut. Then over to the Tonka saw, and if you want to know why I hate the saw so much, I'll leave a link to the video down in the description. With that panel cut to length, Miranda came out to the garage to help out as we got the board perfectly aligned with the laser, then tossed a few brad nails in to hold the board in place. After one board was up, Miranda repeated the same steps as before, marking where the board hit the stud, cutting it to length with the Tonka saw, then securing it with some brad nails. Speaking from experience, once you start getting one or two boards up on the wall, you really want to go fast.
I want to go fast!
But this row is what all of your other panels will reference off of, so take your time and do it right. Once that first row was up and perfectly aligned with the laser, we started cutting down boards for the next row. As you can tell, we made sure not to cut the boards in this row to the exact same lengths as the one below so that the seams were staggered. Those staggered seams give the wall a much better aesthetic and hide the fact that we were forced to only fasten the boards to the 2x4 studs. And speaking of that, yes, in an ideal situation, you would apply these panels on top of a flat substrate like drywall so that the panels can be rock solid with no flex. But it would have cost several $100s to install a flat substrate on top of the 2x4 studs just to be covered by the reclaimed wood. No, this is not the perfect application method, but it works fine for this garage application. Also, if I were doing this in a home or maybe for a client, I would 100% use construction adhesive in addition to the brad nails to hold these panels up. Those brad nails were pretty strong on their own, but the reason that we went without construction adhesive is because this is a temporary space, and when we move out of this apartment, we want to easily be able to take down the reclaimed wood and reuse it in a future space. And yes, there is a gap on the bottom and the top, but we'll come back to those a little bit later because they require some special attention. But for now, we can shift our attention to that sidewall. This wall went up the exact same way as the back wall, where I grabbed a board, marked where it meets the stud, cut her to length, then held it in place with some brad nails. So instead of belaboring that point over and over again, I wanted to try to answer some of the questions that you'll likely have. Now, this product comes from a place called Centennial Woods that is a US based company out of Wyoming. They've been around for 20 years and they're incredibly helpful and friendly. This stuff is 100% reclaimed wood, not just manufactured to look like reclaimed wood like a lot of other brands. In fact, all of the reclaimed wood comes from the 12-foot tall snow fences that line the Wyoming highways and interstates to help prevent snow drifts onto the road.
Oh, that one actually fit.
Hey, sometimes you get a perfect cut. Anyway, every 7 to 10 years these fences need replaced, so Centennial Woods goes out and reclaims all the boards and mills them down into usable products for consumers. We're using their reclaimed wood paneling in a color called Cheyenne, but their products come in tons of different finish options to perfectly match your space. If you'd like to learn more about Centennial Woods and all the products that they have available for your home, click the link down in the description below, and big thanks to Centennial Woods for getting us set up with this renovation project. I've got 2 major tips when it comes to doing a renovation project like this. 1, get yourself a ladder. You're going to be going up and down to reach high places, so don't try to balance on something weird. Just go buy a ladder, and you'll find tons of other uses for it in the future. Or just borrow one from your neighbor. And 2, when you're working down low, instead of killing your knees, get yourself some knee pads or pieces of foam that you can kneel onto. This made a huge difference, and it made it much easier to constantly get up and down during the project. Oh, and bonus tip, make sure to keep all of those offcuts. They're perfect for places like the side of the garage door.
All right, now that we've got these 2 walls here done, we have to move all the tools over to this side and we can start paneling the other side of the garage. And yes, I know people are gonna ask, no, I have not finished the bottom or the top, but that's because these areas are gonna require a little bit of trimming of the boards. And as you can see, there's no way I'm able to use my table saw right now. So we'll get to that stuff later.
Honestly, installing the wall paneling was pretty simple, but having to move all my stuff around in a tight space was super obnoxious. I used the walls to hang lots of things like clamps, and now that I don't have access to the exposed 2x4 studs to hang stuff on, I'm in desperate need for some shop storage solutions like clamp racks, and that's definitely coming in a future video. After moving everything to the opposite side of the shop, I got the laser level reset up and aligned perfectly with the boards on the adjacent wall. That way everything continues to be lined up perfectly. If you want to learn more about this laser level or any of the other tools that I'm using on this project, I'll leave links to everything down in the description below. There are also some special discount codes that'll help you save money on stuff. This wall was substantially easier to do since it was fully paneled and I did not have to worry about hitting those studs. I could cut any length of board that I wanted, tack it up on the wall, and I was all set. Oh, one thing I wanted to share is that if you're using a regular pencil, sometimes it's really hard to see your marks. But if you use something like this Pika dry marker, it's substantially easier to see and it comes in a few different colors. Although all the boards appear to have some great seams on the camera, I have to be honest and tell you that this miter saw is an absolute nightmare to use. These cuts are all over the place, not square at all, but there's a full review on this miter saw link below, but it's not good. Like, it's really bad. Don't buy it. During the install, you'll likely run into some interferences like this. All you have to do is place your board nearby, mark out the interference, get jiggy with the jigsaw, and toss it back up, and you're good to go. Having never done any sort of renovation project before, I have to say that this is definitely on the easy side. If you're comfortable with cutting boards to length and operating a nail gun, I really don't see why anyone would be unable to complete this in their own home. Now that most of the walls are covered, I move my tools back towards the center of the garage, and it's time to focus on these lower spots that I mentioned earlier.
Real quick before I show you how to finish those bottom sections, if you made it this far in the video, leave a comment down below that says kablam. I read every comment, so writing kablam lets me know that you actually watched the video. So if you have any questions or just want to support what I'm doing here, write kablam down below and I promise I'll get back to you. All right, now I'll show you how to do those bottom sections.
I quickly measured where the boards needed to be ripped, then cut them down to the corresponding width on the table saw. If your floor is anything like mine, you'll need to measure each and every board since floors are rarely flat, especially in garages. Just like the rest of your project, take your time here to make sure that it turns out well. Towards the front of the garage, you might be able to see a little bit of gap on the floor, but I actually left that gap there on purpose because sometimes rainwater comes in the door and I didn't want any of this paneling to start rotting from the standing water. Sure, I could pour an entire new concrete footing to solve that issue, but again, this is an apartment garage. I'm not doing that. And with that panel on, this renovation is complete. This definitely gives a massive facelift to this garage space. No more ugly construction lumber, and it finally looks like a real workshop. All in all, this project only took us a couple hours and was well worth the effort put in.